Lisa.
Hey, good morning, Chi fam.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. It is the 29th, and we are here just to give you guys an update on the market so far. Let me just do a quick sharing of the stream real quick, and then we could start rocking and rolling.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How's your week?
Good. How's your week? It's been crazy busy.
Yeah, it has. It's been crazy
Rates,
busy.
yeah, rates started to drop a little bit more, which is wonderful. So I'm getting some refinances coming in.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That's cool.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. Let's see what happens.
What do you
Let's see.
mean?
No, this is a funky year, Chia. It's a funky year.
Yeah, it's gonna be funkier.
Yep. Yep.
It's gonna get funkier as we
I know.
start
I'm
to go towards, November and all that. So,
exactly. That's what I mean. It's just a funky year, right?
it's gonna get funkier. So, yeah, definitely gonna get funkier. Uh, okay, I'm almost done. I promise. I promise I'm almost done. Mm. Okay. All right. I think we're good. Okay. Housekeeping first. Let me share my screen so that way we could talk about the data. Let's do that. Okay. There it is. Okay. Inventory. It's slightly going up. You see that, Lisa?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's slightly going up.
Which is interesting to me, right, Chia? Because usually doesn't it start to cool down a little bit just because people are getting ready for the kids to go back to school. But with the rates dropping a little bit, maybe people are testing the waters even more.
Yeah, that's what's going on. But there's still people out there though buying, selling,
Oh yeah.
So I mean, you still have people, reaching out to you for refinances that you mentioned
Mhm.
recently. So the market's still moving. We definitely do have more inventory, 3% more than last week. New listing is also up. Good morning, Lee Solutions. I think that's Jimmy. And so yeah, new listings is up 4% from last week. Sold home is down though, 13%. Pending homes is up 8%. And just so you guys know, pending and sold, they're they kind of correlate. You know, pending homes are about to go sold. To some sellers, if their home is pending, it's basically sold, right? But there is that 50-50 chance that it can come back to becoming part of the inventory for sale. So just yeah. Okay, so if all of these pending homes ends up going sold, then this number will go up. And looking data from last month, inventory is up 2%. New listing is up almost 1%. Sold home is down 4%. Pending homes are up 3.5%. Now, same time last year, we have inventory way more than last year by 56%. Um, New listing is also higher by 20%. sold homes are down by 1%. Pending home is up 13%. So if you look at the sold homes this year and compare to last year, right, Lisa, it's
Right.
not that big of a decrease. 1% is not a lot. If you're considering the rates changing, if you're considering the price, going up still, 1%, there's still a lot of activity going on despite all of those factors that I just mentioned. Right, Lisa?
Yep.
So, like, for those of you that are kind of like on the sideline waiting, because you think not a lot of people are buying, so eventually homes are going to come down a lot and you're going to get a deal. Any seller that is about to put their home on the market and they see this, they see this, they see this, they're pretty confident. Okay. They're still pretty confident that their home is going to get sold. All right. The question they need to ask is how long do they have, right? And how fast is their home going to sell? That's really the question they want to know. And if we went to days on the market, right? And you see this week on average, homes are getting sold 27 days on average, just like last week, right? There's no change. And if
Mm-hmm.
you compare this whole month so far to last month, it's 26 days. And then if you compare this year to last year, it was 23 days last year. So 3 days difference. What does that tell you? That means homes are still moving fairly quickly. That means there's still buyers out there that are very serious about buying a home, and they're as long as the home is marketed correctly, if the buyer likes it, they submit an offer, it's pretty much a done deal. That's why so many sellers, once it goes pending, they're pretty confident it's going to be sold. You know, they're already starting the move, they're already starting looking for their next home, all of that jazz, right? So, yeah, 26 days on average, that's not even a month yet. Okay, it's it's still very fast. Homes are moving still very quick, and that's the data. Again, I don't make none of this up. I'm utilizing what the MLS is giving us based off of data they see and they collect. So I'm just sharing all that with you guys on the week to week basis and month to month and year to year. All right. So you guys could decide how the market's doing. And sold homes, active prices, sold homes is up from last week, 0.5%. Active price is down by 1%, but I care more about sold price, not active price. Okay. From last month, sold price went down like almost 1%. But look here, from last year, it's up 2.7%, Lisa.
That is amazing.
2.7%. Interesting, right?
It is interesting because you would think it, with again, people keep saying, well, though, I'll buy when the rates go lower. Guys, it's again, when we talk about supply and demand, the supply is still significantly lower than the demand. So it's going to continue to be like this.
Until, price, what would I like to say? Until like prices gets crazy, crazy high, or like there's no programs out there for people to buy, or rates just becomes crazy higher. Um, I don't see this changing anytime soon. I really still don't. Okay, we've been saying that for the past, man, for a while now, right, Lisa? And I don't
Mhm.
think it's gonna change anytime soon. It's still gonna keep going up. So like if you guys go and look back at all of our live streams that we've been doing, showing all this week on a week basis, you guys will see that month over month over month over month, this thing has been going up. Okay. Inventory does play a role too. So let's look at the inventory. Okay. And inventory did not change. Well, it did, just a slight, from last month, 5%. And it is up 50% more than last year, you know, but it's at 1.9. Last year we had 1.2 months worth of inventory. And you guys hear me say, until it gets to like 4 to 6 months worth consistently, month after month after month, then we won't really start seeing a change in price. Because right now, the buyers that are looking, they've seen every inventory that is on the market. If they've been looking for the past couple months, they've seen everything. Okay. I have a client right now. They're looking at a condos. They've seen all the condos. If it's within their budget, if it's within their criteria, they've seen all of the condos available to them. There's nothing new. And in the moment a new condo within that price point comes, they're probably gonna go look at it the next day. So like that is what majority of buyers are going through right now. You guys are seeing 1.9 month worth of inventory. You guys are probably thinking that's still a lot of inventory. Not
Yeah.
really. Not really, because remember, I'm not putting any specific criterias in here. I'm putting no limits, so that way it's showing everything, the acreage, the square foot, the bath counts, all of that. So I'm leaving it all in there just to keep it generalized. That way we don't have to micromanage every data specifically to a certain individual. So because of that, this 1.9 is based off of all of that in Sac County. If I was to change those accordingly to a certain client, then it's going to change drastically. So this is a combine of all of those types of housing: condos, half plexes, single family homes, So take that into consideration. And that is the data. Let's look at rates, shall we? Let's look at rates. There it is. There's the rates. It did go down. Oh my gosh. FHA says 5.7.
Correct. Correct.
And conventionals at 6.3.
Yep.
15-year fix is at 5.9. Jumbo loans at 6.6. Adjustable rates at 6.3, just like conventional. VAs at 5.74. Oh man, it is slightly coming down, Lisa.
Yep, it really is, and there's people who've gotten rates that are above 7%. This is now probably a good time to take a look at this, and if you haven't already, submit your application, just because you can't lock in the rate without actually submitting that. So I would project, the projection is it's going to go lower in the next month, and September is right around the corner as next week's, everyone. So put everything in the pipeline if you're looking at refinancing, so that you don't miss that mark. We don't know what's going to happen. Again, I stress the funkiness of this year. Don't know what's going to happen after the election. But what's happening now is if you're still saving at least $200 on your home every month, and you've only had it for a year, maybe two, okay, it still might be financially beneficial for you to go ahead and jump the gun first.
Yep. Now, Lisa, question for you. With the
Yep.
rates being the way it is right now, if an individual bought a home recently and they were able to save like $200 to $300 a month by refinancing
Yep.
to the current rate, would you recommend them do it?
Yes. Usually, the rule of thumb is, in order for you to refinance, okay, especially into a much better rate, you have to build some equity. So those of you that put in a small down payment and whatnot, if you did an FHA loan, there's an FHA streamline where they don't even do an appraisal or anything like that. Okay, it's just, it'll trade it in. Now the streamline FHA is higher. It's a little bit higher of a rate because you really don't have to pay anything on it and stuff. You don't have to do the appraisal and whatnot. And that might be a possibility because it doesn't matter if your house hasn't appreciated as much just yet. But if it makes financial sense for you, I absolutely would recommend that. Okay. Now for conventional, unless you can pay upfront and out of pocket and whatnot, you may not have accumulated enough equity in the first to second months just yet. Okay. And if not, I mean, just bring your file in and whatnot and take a look at what the equity is now. Sometimes you really don't know. Maybe you guys got up for a really good steal of a deal, especially those of you who actually had an appraisal come in higher than what your purchase price is. Absolutely bring it in.
Yeah, nowadays I think a couple $100 a month it helps everyone.
Oh, sure.
Um,
It
because
helps alleviate that pain of the insurance going up. And some of you guys have insurance
yeah,
that went up a couple $100 a month.
yep. Yeah, like I added my daughter's car. Not even my daughter yet, because but I added my daughter's car, and holy moly, just her car alone was the same price of two of my existing cars.
Yep. I was
I'm
gonna
like,
say
what
the
the heck? Is this a
same.
mistake? I call my insurance guy, and I'm like, is this a mistake? He's like, nope, rates went up.
And not
And
only that, our kids are very blessed to have our long record, right? Yeah. And if
yep.
my kids, I mean, my brother wanted to give my daughter a car, right? And
Oh,
as nice
okay.
as it was, as nice as that was, it was a BMW. And because she is a new driver, I'm like, no, I can't. Even if the car is free, the insurance for her was $4,000 a month. That's just, I couldn't justify paying that much for insurance.
Yeah, I think right now, I don't know what it is with kids nowadays, Lisa, but then it's like they don't want to work. They don't want to work, or I don't know what it is, but then they don't see the significance of hard work and like with rates being so high, right? With insurance and cost of living, inflation, everything else around is going up. Um, I feel like working hard should be like the number one thing on your head. Like, oh my God, I need to hustle. But
Well,
it's
here's the
not.
mentality, right, Chia? Here's the mentality. Our generation is migrating to the work smart, not hard, right? And so many people, especially our young folks, are thinking it's like, oh yeah, I want to work smart, not hard. But they misconstrue that message and shortcut certain things, right? Where it's like they
Yeah.
don't know the full picture yet. You haven't worked long enough to understand that the reason why we put these in these processes, because in the event that something like this happens, you've already been prepared for it because that's how you were trained to do a certain task, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I
Mm-hmm.
think our kids are very blessed, right, Chia? They're very blessed because they are very privileged. Our children's
Yeah.
generation is a lot more privileged than us, especially in our Asian community, when most of us may not even be first Americans, right? Our parents were refugees. Some of us are still refugees, and our kids are the ones that are born in America. So they don't really see the struggle that we saw our parents doing,
Yeah.
right? They don't see that. I mean, they see us working and they see us working hard, and they're thinking that's how they got all of this. But it doesn't translate just yet, Chia. It doesn't
I
translate.
hope it does soon. Oh my gosh, I'm like
Right.
hoping.
And when we saw our parents work hard, Chia, when we saw our parents work hard. We work hard to build a retirement plan, to build investments, to do certain things, and for our kids to have certain privileges like sports, like dance, like things like that, right? Where we saw
Yeah.
our parents work hard and hustle just to put food on the table, right?
Right.
Home ownership was not as um, available to them, even though home prices were a lot smaller. But it's just, hey, everybody's just trying to survive at that time, coming from another country and everything, right? So as much as we want to give our kids everything that we didn't get, Chia, one of the things that I think that we may not have given our kids is grit, and that only comes
Yeah.
when you have to struggle.
Yep. I agree. I agree. We just love our kids so darn much. right? And
Yeah, a
we don't
little
want them to go
too
through
much.
what we're going through. But I think when we think like that, we're robbing them of their opportunity to have grit, like what you said. But
Exactly. Absolutely.
let's go on to the next topic. I've been getting people asking me because the year is getting, we're like what? We're like in the third quarters now.
Yeah, it's so crazy.
Yeah, we're in the third quarter of the year already. It's about to be over. 2024 came by like that. So
Uh-huh.
that is introducing the question most people have on their mind is how is 2025 going to look like? Well, I want to share this article with everybody so we can see what some of the experts are saying. Okay, and look, this is from Keeping Current Matters 2025 housing market forecast, what to expect. Let's just read. This is my first time seeing this too with all you guys, so you guys will get my reaction, what I think. We'll get Lisa's reaction on this too. Looking ahead of 2025, it's important to know that what experts are projecting for the housing market and whether you're thinking of buying or selling next year, having a clear picture of what they're calling for can help you make the best decision. I agree. Here's an early look at the most recent projections on rates, sales, prices for 2025. Rates play a significant role in housing market forecast for 25. Fannie Mae, Mortgage Bankers Association, NAR, and Wells Fargo show an expected gradual decline in rates over the course of next year. See below. Okay. So they're projecting that by 2025 Q4, rates going to be around the 5.9 average. Um, you guys saw this right now. It's already at 5.7. Okay, so like I think maybe this might be lower when it gets to that. I don't know. Wells Fargo's thinking 5.8, NAR's thinking 6.3. Mortgage Bankers Association is thinking 5.9. Fannie Mae is also thinking 5.9. So, like, is this enough to help inform home buyers and home sellers about what's going to happen in 2025? Because if this is real, okay, Lisa, I
Mm-hmm.
prices are going to keep going up, like what I just said.
Exactly. Exactly.
Because think about it. To most people, that's what they're waiting for. They're
Right.
waiting for the affordability to go down. I mean, to go up. Affordability to go up for the home. Because even though prices go up, the price of it going up, the pace is going up at, let's say 2%, 3%, that doesn't affect the mortgage payment as much as if the interest rate was to drop a point or two. Am I wrong, Lisa?
Correct. And that's the thing too. If we go back into the situation where the interest rate just dropped a point, right? Okay. Then if you think about it, okay, if you just think about it, the home prices, remember when that did happen during COVID and people were bidding 20, 30, 40, sometimes
Yes.
even 50 in our neighborhood. And if the house is really desirable, it can go up to 100,000 in our area.
Yep.
In the
Yep.
Bay Area, it starts out at $100,000 and then up.
Yep.
So it kind of not just washes itself out, but sometimes it actually is more because the home prices are more, even though the rates are down.
Yes.
Because when as a monthly payment in whole, you have to understand that the higher the home prices are, the percentage of your property tax is going to be higher. The percentage of your home insurance is going to be higher. And if you put less than 20% down, the percentage of your mortgage insurance monthly is also going to be higher.
Down payment is going to be higher too because the price is higher
Correct.
now, right?
Correct. Correct.
So that's the next question. Some people's going to say, well, it doesn't make sense to buy at a higher price if we're going to have to put more money out of pocket up front because the down payment increases based off of the percentage of the purchase price. True.
Right.
Now, you got to think back to how most people react, right? Most people today, they will go to their phone services and lease their phone. They don't own it, right? They will lease their $1,000 to $2,000 phone and pay $20 a month for 3 years with that service provider just because they want the phone that bad. That phone is expensive as heck, but they're willing to lease it. When it comes to a home, they're gonna do the same thing. if the payment is within their budget and the home that they fall in love with fits all of their criterias, all their needs, and it's within that budget monthly, they're gonna do it because despite the prices being high, as long as they can afford it on a month to month, and that gives them time to be able to still put their life in order, put the checks and balances in order, all of that, and still be able to, provide and go on with their livelihood. Most
Right.
people live by that. They live by that month to month basis, you know. Um, because you have to understand with inflation, with everything going up, most people already find it hard enough already to be able to save up to 20% and saving up to like 100% of cash, like what some people recommend you to do, Dave Ramsey. But then, you know what I mean? So like it's already hard, So most people are gonna go with the minimum down payment, and most of the time that's FHA because they're still working on their credits too, and FHA favors that more. But some people that have their credit score in line, and they have a little bit of money, but they don't want to put 20%, maybe 5 to 10, they might go with conventional, which is at 6.3 right now. So you have options to choose from, and with the rates coming down, I think that's what's going to happen for 2025.
Yeah. I mean, if we want to compare it to, Chia, I have my chart up and everything like that. I'll show you, hey, right now the interest rate are 6.375. If it did drop next year, okay, according to this chart, let's just say it did drop 1%. Let's take a look at how that looks like for you guys so that you can see. Okay.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna share. Okay. All right. Is that big enough, Chia?
Zoom in just a little bit.
Okie dokie. That good?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. So let's just take the average price right now in Sacramento is 550, right? So somebody putting 3% down, this is what their monthly payment with principal, interest, property tax right here, hazard insurance, mortgage insurance. This is what their monthly payment's going to look like, okay? So let's just assume that next year home prices are going to be exactly the same, okay? It's a difference of a little over $340, which is a wonderful thing. But usually what happens, right, Tia? If it continues to go this way, most likely that same house that you're looking at is going to be at least 25% more, okay? Or I'm sorry, $25,000 more. So now that difference is a little bit lower. You notice how the mortgage insurance now is slightly higher, home insurance is slightly higher, property tax is slightly higher, but they really, really want to win this offer. So what happens when those rates start dropping? Look at that, guys. $50,000 of difference, even with the rate being lower, the monthly payment actually is slightly higher by almost $14. Okay, that's because all of this overall, the P&I, okay, is still lower. Yes, that's true, but you increased everything else. Okay, so our message to you is don't wait. It's not that favorable. It's not as favorable as you think it is. Sorry, Chia. Can't hear you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
So question about that chart.
Mm-hmm.
What we saw in 2020 when people were overbidding was home did not
Yes.
appraise.
Yes.
Okay, so for that same scenario, if the home was to go up to 600K, but it was listed at 550, let's say appraiser ends up giving them a 25K of appraised value increase. So now it appraises only at 575, but they still have a gap of $25,000 because their offer price is 600K. Seller
Right.
still wants to keep it at 600K. They don't want to negotiate. So most buyers in 2020 was paying the difference, right?
Right.
So if they were to pay the difference, the question most people have is, is my down payment based off of the purchase price, or is my down payment percentage and tax percentage and all of that percentage, is it based off of the 600K that I offer, or is it based off a percentage off of what it appraised at?
Okay, that is an excellent question because during that time, Tia, a lot of people were quite confused. Okay,
Yep.
the value is going to be, it's going to be based on the purchase price or the value, whichever is lower. Okay, so say for instance, you're going to put 3% down, which makes your loan to value 97%. But if you're buying a 550 or $600,000 property and it's only worth 575, then now the loan to value, okay, the loan to value of the house is much less or much higher than 97%, which means you're going to have to come in with that difference. Okay.
Right.
Oh, and when we get into that frenzy again, she and I have witnessed it many times, is the seller is not willing to drop their price because during that time it is very common for many buyers to say, hey, I know we didn't win the offer, but can we be backup? They had two,
Mhm.
3, 4, 5 backups, so they're just going down the line. If you're
Yep.
not prepared that that possibility could happening, right? All the time that you're thinking, hey, I'm just going to save money and I'm going to wait until the rates drop. I'm going to wait for the home prices to drop. We've been waiting for how long now? We've been waiting for over 12 years. And again, not to say it couldn't happen because anything could happen, right? It's a funky time that we're in right now with what's going on with the economy. People are losing their jobs, admin positions, middle, not entry level positions are actually quite hard to find right now. So because of that, that might take a huge toll overall on consumer spending, which is going to affect real estate eventually anyway. But the difference is the biggest difference between last time and this time is supply and demand. We still have much less supply than the demand, where in 2008 the supply was increasing, really fast.
Every week, every month. Yeah.
Right. And people were not able to buy because there was a huge job layoff during that time in the tech
Mhm.
companies, in a lot of companies. And we're seeing that again right now. We're seeing a lot of layoffs still. I have a lot of Silicon Valley friends in big tech companies, known companies, kind of like the state, where like, no, once you're in, you'll never lose your job. And now they've been laid off for over a year, over 2 years and whatnot. And, some of my people are kind of a little bit worried.
So let's continue reading this forecast on keeping current mass for 2025. Okay. So, of course, they're projecting that rates might drop. So, the market will see an increase in both the supply of available homes on the market as well as a rise in demand as more buyers and sellers who have been sitting on the sidelines, see, that's what I said, because of
Mhm.
higher rates, choose to make a move. That's one big reason why experts are projecting a increase in home sales next year. That's what I said earlier. According to Fannie Mae, MBA, NAR, total home sales are forecast to climb slightly, with an average of about 5.4 million homes expected to sell in 2025. So here is the projection. The average for all three, they're thinking home sales are going to go up 5%. Home sale price, 5%. NAR thinks 5.7, NBA thinks 5.2, Fannie Mae thinks 5.2. That would represent a modest uptick from the lower sales numbers in 23 and 24. For reference, about 4.8 million total homes were sold in 23, and expectations are for around 4.5% homes this year in 24. While slightly lower mortgage rates are not expected to bring a flood of buyers and sellers back to the market, they certainly will get more people moving. I agree. That means more homes available for sale and competition among buyers. Now, some people are confused about why home sellers are going to be picking up because most buyers today and for 2025, I see most buyers today are also home sellers. They need to sell because they're downgrading or they're upgrading. So they need to sell their home first. Now that becomes inventory. but they also need to find a replacement home, so they become a buyer also. There's a lot of that type of individual right now in this current market too, where they need to sell contingent on buying, and they need to buy contingent on selling. So that's what they're talking about. Okay. Inventory is going to slightly go up because of the home sellers, and demand for buying is going to slightly go up too because they're home buyers. What's going on, Rory? So home prices will go up moderately. More buyers ready to jump back into the market. That's what I've been saying. Will put continued upward pressure on prices. Take a look at the latest price forecast for 10 of the most trusted sources in real estate. Okay. So the average that they feel home price is going to go up is going to be 2.6%. Goldman Sachs thinks 4.4% increase. Wells Fargo thinks 4.3. HPES 3.2, Fannie Mae 3%, Morgan Stanley 3%, NBA 2.9. So everybody's basically thinking prices are going to go up by 2025. It's going to keep going up. Okay. Let's just say the home prices do end up going up. Like you guys saw the budget sheet that Lisa just pulled up for you guys earlier. Is it worth it to wait?
Mm-hmm.
For some people, it might be. But to
Yeah.
some people, for most, it might not be. Because
So,
are you
oh, sorry.
prepared for that buying frenzy?
Yeah. So here's the thing, guys. Okay. If you buy now at the 6.375 rate, right, and it does increase to that later on, you can refinance and you would save that 340 something dollars a month. That would absolutely still be worth it for you because you locked in that purchase price that was lower, right? Don't take that chance. Don't gamble with your life as being a homeowner.
Yeah, because remember, when you buy a home in today's market, instead of waiting
Mhm.
for this time in 2025, you bought the home based off of 2024, August 2024, not 2025. So you bought that same home in today's price, yes, with today's rates, but the rates could change when you refinance if it does go lower.
Yes.
Price will not go lower. It will
Right.
go up. Now that's going to be a good thing for you that are buying right now because you have equity now.
Correct. You build equity
You
faster.
have automatic equity because home prices went up based off of demand because there's going to be a buyer frenzy again, or they're forecasting there possibly might be a frenzy again. Then you reap the benefits of both because now you can refinance based off of that times rate, and you get automatic equity because of the buying frenzy in your neighborhood. So I don't know if only you will know if it's worth it for you to buy now or wait till later, right? Because everybody is on the sideline right now, but only you could decide that for yourself. Maybe you're in a pickle financially and you need to wait to work on your credit. Maybe because you thought the home market was gonna crash, so you decided to go and get a car instead or do something else with your credit. So now your debt to income is tied up somewhere, so you need a little bit of time to pay that off. I get it. But if you know this might be happening, this is a forecast. What I would recommend you do is talk to a loan specialist similar to Lisa and just find out what your situation is like and
Hmm.
find out what you need to do, what debts you need to pay in order to get to the score you need to be, or how much you need to save to buy that price point home that's going to fit your criterias. That's what I would recommend you do. Like, don't wait till this come around 2025 and then you speak to a loan specialist like Lisa, because then everybody's out there already that already prepared ahead of time. They're already bidding on homes, they're already buying their homes, and they're ready to pull the trigger. You
Yeah.
most first time home buyers do this, okay? They treat it like looking at a car at a dealership. They go look at HomeStools, Zillow, Realtor.com, and they see it, they go look at it, they fall in love with it, and then they reach out to their agent or loan specialist and get approved. But remember, when they go through all that, they don't know what documents to give to get that pre-approval letter. So they have to go find all their documents, all their tax papers that they put away that's dusty in the attic or closet. And it takes them a couple days or even a couple weeks to send all those documentations back into Lisa. And then once Lisa then gets everything, she is now able to finalize the pre-approval. But then you already lost those many days, those many weeks, depending on how fast you get the documents, and the home is already pending. And then
Yeah,
you get
it's
so shot up, you get so upset that oh my god, the home is gone already.
right.
Also, yeah.
It's tough because I mean, there are times where I have to superhero a loan, and that's saving it from somebody who's already in escrow that their last lender unfortunately just didn't do their due diligence and really look at the scenario, right? And so there's quite a few that I've had in my pipeline. It's like, oh my goodness, how did this even get past the pre-qualification process? This wasn't even checked off. Or just recently, I had one where a client just transferred money back and forth, all their money. That's not the problem. But it was just like to source all of that and to say, okay, well, this $10,000 came from this account. She had 10 different accounts. 3 of them were retirement in investment and stocks and crypto and all the other stuff too. So it just held up the transaction a lot longer than it needed to be, where the last lender actually had them for almost a year, and none of those expectations were talked about at all. So I felt quite bad for the client because it should have been really, really nice, easy, clean situation, stress free. Everybody was kind of stressed out. Luckily, the seller gave them a 3-week extension, and we're,
Yeah,
it's a
lucky.
great thing. But man, it was a messy, messy situation. So for you guys out there, know that get all of your ducks lined up, get all of your paperwork. Even if the loan officer did not say anything to you, know that it doesn't matter where you go with. It's not like this bank is more strict, that bank. Yeah, there are banks that are a little bit more strict with their criteria and their paperwork and whatnot, but we all have to follow this protocol. We all have to prove the income. We all have to prove your assets. We all have to prove your credit and so on and so forth. So those things are the things that it's kind of crazy because it's so basic, right, Tia? Even
Mhm.
my most of our people should know these basic things of how you get to qualify for a home loan. Just like Tia said, it is not a car. Car lenders are very, very different. You can get a car loan with 500 credit. That's not a problem. They
They're
don't
gonna
care.
find a loan for you.
Yeah, it's going to be super expensive, but they'll do it for you. In the
Hmm.
mortgage
Hmm.
world, you don't have that.
Yep. So be prepared if 2024 2025 forecast is accurate, like what this blog is saying, then to just be better equipped for that time. If you already know you've been sitting on the siding for a long time, just start talking to your lender right now. So that way you know what to prepare for yourself, your own situation, not anybody else's, yourself. That's what I would recommend. Um, and let's talk about the next topic. I want to share about this, okay? Today's biggest myth. All right, let's just kind of go over these myths and see what Lisa thinks about this. All right. Have you ever heard the phrase, don't believe everything you hear? That's especially true if you're thinking about buying or selling a home today. There's a lot of misinformation out there. There is. And right now, making sure you have someone you can go to for trustworthy information is important. If you partner with your agent, they can clear up some common misconceptions and reassure you by backing them up with research, facts. Here are just a few misconceptions. Okay, I already kind of know where this is going. Yep. Number one, the first myth, I'll get a better deal when prices crash. If you've heard home prices are going to crash, it's time to look at what's actually happening. That's what I've been preaching this whole time. Gurus are going to tell you it's crashing because they want to sell you a course. But you have to look at data. Okay. While prices vary by local market, there's a lot of data out there from numerous sources that shows a crash is not happening. Back in '08, there was a dramatic oversupply, of homes that led to prices crashing. Across the board, there was an undersupply of homes for sale today. Yes, that makes this market a whole different scenario. True. Okay. why today's inventory won't make home prices crash. Back then in '08, when it did crash, there was 10.4 months worth of inventory. They're probably talking about nationwide.
Well, I mean,
Now there's 4.1 months worth of inventory. Oh my lord. Again, this is probably nationwide. It's not specific to county, like what I've been showing you guys based off of SAC.
yeah,
Newly built homes in '08 was 1.6 million homes that was being built. Right now, it's barely a million homes being built new. And look at this. This is the biggest thing people are talking about. Foreclosures. Back then, there was 1.7 million foreclosures on the market. Today, nationwide is about 300,000.
yeah. It's kind of crazy because back
300,000.
in those days, you know, Chia, my husband and I would actually drive down the streets, and when we see the front yard not as presentable, we look at that address, we look up who the bank owners are and everything like that, and we would ask them directly. You could do that back then and whatnot. Okay. Um, and this is the biggest reason why we stress about supply and demand. Look at how much greater that supply is during that time. This is great data to see, Chia, for the right.
So much supply.
Yeah, everybody's looking on that foreclosure. Hey, we're going to wait for this and everything like that. But look at what the variance is. And it didn't get to 1.7 overnight, you guys. Okay. Back then, there were tough loans.
Yeah.
Okay. Where it adjusted sometime monthly. And back then, the interest rates were around 6.5%, 7% as well. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So this
But
is a
most
really
people use adjustable rates that time.
adjustable rates were really popular at that time because at that time home prices was at peak high. Of course, we beat that peak already. At that time, right? For that time, it was peaking at, it was the highest it's ever been.
Yep. That is exactly it,
Hmm.
And look, this is not something I made up, it's from data from the NAR and all of that. So look at the difference, okay? So if you think waiting will score you a deal, know that data show there's not a crash on the horizon and waiting isn't going to pay off the way you'd hope. Okay, so that's myth number one. It's not gonna crash. Number two, I won't be able to find anything to buy. If this nagging fear about finding the right home if you move is still holding you back, you probably haven't talked to an agent. Throughout the year, supply of homes for sale has grown. Yes, it has. You guys saw it. Data from Realtor.com helps put this into context. While there are still fewer homes on the market than a more normal year like 2019, inventory is still above where it was last year. You guys
Right.
saw, I did point that out as well. We have 50% more inventory this year than last year. Okay.
Right. Wait, hold that thought for
Uh,
just a second, okay, Chia? Hold that thought for just a second. Scroll back up. I want to let the audience know too. It's like, hey, remember when Chia said this is nationwide? Earlier, Chia, you pull up the data. We have 1.9 months, right? This is
mhm.
important to remember because everybody's like, well, people are moving out of California. It's too expensive to live. Well, if nationwide there's 4.1 months of inventory, but we only have 1.9, what does it say? That says most people still prefer, the majority of the people still prefer to stay in California, which means our supply is not going to increase more than our demand anytime soon.
I'm telling y'all, we know many people that move and then they don't like the weather and they come back. You know,
Yeah, in less than a year, we've had that happen.
yeah,
And this
people
person
do that
living,
all the time.
right? And they had a McMansion, right? Yeah.
Yep.
And
And they're
decided
letting that go, or they're breaking even just to come back to a home that's like 1,200 square foot, a
right.
thousand square foot, and because they just can't face the fact or accept the fact that most of their family were here, you know, friends were here, and the weather is nicer here, you know? So like it's hard for a average family to adapt to change, you know? Um unless you're retiring and you know for sure you're downgrading your life. No, I wouldn't say downgrade, but you're changing,
Downsizing, yeah.
downsizing and all that, then that's a different story. You know, I know many individuals that have sold here so that way they could go and retire in Florida or whatever state. Yes, but to the average family that's still raising a family, young couple, most of the time they're selling their homes in that state and they're coming here just because they want to be able to have the four seasons, or be closer to friends and family. I mean, I
Right.
might be wrong, but then to the people I talk to that are buying in California here, that's what they tell me.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah,
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, the sense of belonging is a huge, huge thing for most people. That sometimes we take it for granted when we move out, and we're like, we don't have anybody. Yes, everybody's just a phone call away, but it's not the same.
it's not the same. I'm telling y'all, like sometimes people just like think about it as the parent, right? We
Yeah.
buy a home in a location that has a good school district just for our
Mhm.
kids. We're not even buying it for us anymore. We're buying it because of our kids, right? And then when our kids are done with school and they move out from the home, we downsize because now we want to buy something that we like or that we need, right? Because we're just gonna be traveling most of the time. So maybe we don't need that 2,000 square foot home anymore. We only need like a 1,100 square foot condo because most of the time we're just going to be eating and sleeping and repeating from that condo. So we don't want to maintain it. We just want to go and travel and enjoy the remaining golden years.
Okay.
So
Hold that thought. Okay, Chia, think about it. Think about it. I have quite a few people, and this is the reason why people are like, oh, the boomers are going to sell and stuff like that to downsize. It's the reason why they're not. Okay. Because for the home prices, many people, many retirees have already paid off their house.
mhm,
Okay. They're not looking to downsize for a home. For instance, some of you bought in 2011. You could have bought a house that's 3,000 plus square feet for $300,000.
yep,
So a lot of these people are like, well, I mean, if I downsize now, Chia, what can I get in Sacramento for 300,000? What can I honestly truly get?
not the same house.
Exactly. Well, not the same house. Let's just say if you bought a $3,000 house and you want to decrease it to even 1,000 square feet, could you find a house that's 2 bedroom, 1 bathroom, 1,000 square feet for 300,000 in Sacramento, Chia?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
You
So
can. But
how
the area might be sketchy,
okay, the area might be sketchy, and
or
even
the
with this,
home might need work.
okay, how from a scale of 1 to 10, and 10 being the most difficult to find, would this be a, "Oh, yeah, I can find it for you tomorrow," or would it be kind of like a needle in a haystack type of
It
situation?
will be a needle in a haystack. It's gonna take time because again, we don't have enough inventory. That 1.9 month with the inventory that I showed you guys in the beginning of the live stream, it is based off of all types of scenario homes: condo, halfplex, duplex, single family, multi, one bed, two bed, three bed, four, five, six, seven. So it's a mix of all of that in one county. So you could
Right,
already imagine if you're looking for something so specific, two bedroom, one bath, 1,000 square foot, 300K. It's not a lot of those out there. Okay.
right,
And
right.
you're right about that, Lisa.
Mhm.
Some
I
sellers right
can't
now that don't have a mortgage that are selling though, they're not borrowing though. They're buying cash
correct.
because they know they're retiring soon. So their pension isn't going to be able to handle today's rates and today's mortgage rates based off of the home they want. So they're
Right,
buying cash and only paying the insurance, the utilities, and the property taxes.
right. So that's the reason why I wanna stress that point, guys. It's because if you're waiting for that to happen too, this is the reason why it may not happen, okay? It's like they're paying a great property tax, and many houses have a downstairs a bedroom. So it takes away the need for people who are retirees to want to downsize to a one story. And the only time that they would want to do it, like Chia says, it's a lot of work. A big house is a lot of work.
It
But
is.
if I pay somebody, you know, $150 a week, a month, every 2 weeks and whatnot, it still probably saves me a lot more than to downsize to a 1,000 square foot home, okay, and pay more in insurance, more in HOA. In that situation, it's most likely a condo, right, Chia? And
Mm-hmm.
now you have
Mm-hmm.
HOA, which is not a terrible thing, but you just traded in nothing for an HOA, even if you didn't have a mortgage, right? Property tax, all that other stuff is pretty much kind of the same. It's because the same pricing. But again, the other thing is too, it's a sketchy neighborhood. And when you're retired, being a sketchy neighborhood probably is not the best idea.
Right. So either you have to compromise and go up in price,
Mm-hmm.
or most people, what they do is they wait,
Yeah, absolutely.
and
And
that's why there is still a chain of supply that is on the bench right now too, Lisa. That's
right,
waiting for the right
absolutely.
time.
I think that for houses that are like 2,500 square feet ish, right? 25 to maybe 3,000 square feet, which is considered pretty big overall, right?
Yeah, it's a decent
You,
size. Yeah.
yeah, you can probably get that up to 500, 550, up to 2016. Yeah, wouldn't you say, Chia?
Hmm.
So usually people who have bought in those years would sell. But why would
Yeah.
they? If they refinance also, why would they? They've got it at that price and they're refinanced during the 2020 to 2022 timeframe. And now it's like, yeah, the rates are lower, but it's not as low as what I have right now. So
Yeah.
it's going to eliminate that part of the supply and demand. And that's the thing too. When people know that they already got a very good deal, okay, they're less likely to relinquish that. And I have quite a few people who are looking for homes that are already homeowners. And I ask the same question all the time because they're like, well, the inventory is so low. It's like, yeah, because people like you want to buy, they don't want to sell either. So now
Hmm.
you're getting another house, but you're not relinquishing your house to even
Right.
out the supply and demand. Not that it's a bad thing or that I'm coercing my people to sell or whatnot. It's more of like, this is the reason why though. And they're like, oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, everybody's comfortable. Remember that, and
Mhm.
that goes back to what I was saying earlier about people moving back to California. It's people just want to be comfortable again. They're away from family. Now they're stressed. They're in a new location. They're like, man, what am I doing here? Why do we do this? I miss my friends. I miss my family. I miss the weather. And then it starts getting to their main focal point to where that's all they can see now. And they can't even enjoy the new lifestyle that they started in a different state. So they move back. Like
Right.
emotional feeling is a true thing. Most people buy
Absolutely.
based off of emotion. They go
Mhm.
in, they fall in love with the home, and then boom, that's what makes them decide that, what, I'm gonna buy today or sell today. So majority of buyers make that type of purchase. You know. All right, let me finish number two's myth, and then we can end the live stream since it's getting close. Okay, so throughout the years, supply of homes have grown. And while there are still fewer homes on the market than a more normal year like 2019, inventory is still above where it was last year. Yes, it is. Okay. Now, the supply of homes for sale is improving. National inventory change percentage year over year versus pre-pandemic 2017 2019. Okay. So look, pre-pandemic, we have negative 28% supply of homes. Okay. And look, this year we have 36%. So nationwide, we have 36% more inventory. From what I showed you guys earlier, we have 50% more. Okay. 50% more from last year, but that's just based off of Sacramento. This is nationwide. Remember that. Okay. So inventory is a lot more, 36%. So if you're remembering all that media cover about record low supply during pandemic, you can rest a bit easier while the market isn't back to normal. Just your inventory is moving. And that means as your options improve, you can let go of this not outdated myth because finding a home won't feel quite so impossible anymore. That's true. There is more inventory. You guys seen it here, and you guys saw it from the source I showed you guys earlier on our local county here in Sacramento. All you need to do really is stop listening to gurus, okay, and just talk to a local expert that is living and breathing all of this, and they would tell you straight up, oh
Mm-hmm.
yeah, the market's doing this, the market's doing that. That is the best and most accurate way to find out what is happening in your market. Okay, and if you found a local expert that's not telling you any of that, you still don't know what you're doing, you're still doing your own due diligence, then find a different expert. Okay, there's thousands of us out there that are sharing information to help educate our clients. Okay, so like just find another expert. It's okay. Let your existing expert know, hey, it ain't working out. I need more than this, and you're not giving it to me, so I'm gonna go find somebody else. It's perfectly fine and professional. We get it. So I think that's a good way to end this, right?
Yeah, there's
and
always
that
information.
And that is the market update, Chichi fams. Okay, went over a few myths. We did a few forecasts for 2025. We talked about today's rates. We shared a little bit about the data, and now you guys can enjoy the rest of your weekend and decide if you are planning on buying and selling. And if you are, you don't know anybody, reach out to me or Lisa. We would love to answer any of your questions you have. Share this video with friends and family if you found it to be informative. We appreciate you guys. All right, that's why we do this, and we will see you guys next time. All right, peace out.
Bye, Chi Chi fam.